Hello and welcome to the Race for Alex, broadcasted by Apex Racing TV. I'm Sam Fitzpatrick, and alongside me this evening is Marco Barbanet, and we're here at Imola for this 1 hour event to raise money for the charity Beautiful Inside and Out. Beautiful Inside and Out offer help to young adults who have suffered a loss of a loved one through suicide. They also offer help in the prevention of suicide as well. The organizer of the event, Robbie Lindsay, the father of Alex, has set up a Just Giving page to raise funds for the charity after Alex took his own life at the age of 18 last July, and after setting an ambitious target of £1,000 last year. We are pleased to say he has succeeded and gone beyond this target as well, raising £1,378 as I speak. And if you want to donate to the charity, there should be a link available on our screen. And Robbie has said any money that can be raised will certainly make a difference. But to the race today, Marco, we're here at Imola once again, like we were in the Euro V8 Supercar Series on Saturday. And yeah, should be a fantastic venue for this fantastic event.
Yes, hello everyone, hello Sam. Let me begin with saying how much of an honor it is to broadcast this race for everyone tonight. And speaking of the donation, you have the link both in the comments below in the info bar below this video, or every once in a while it will pop on the screen just like this. Any amount helps, and we will kindly thank you for even the smallest amount donated, because this is a very, very important cause that I really keep close to my heart. And I think, Sam, we have a fantastic grid tonight, with many, many big names. All they have given their share to participate in this event. 1 hour race, like you said, GTs around Imola. Hopefully, and I'm quite sure about this, we get a nice race, and we can put on a show for the viewers. We have 41 drivers signed up for this event, Sam, so this track is not very big, and qualifying was on Sunday, so after the warm-up we already can go through the starting grid.
Yes, and on pole position for this race is Fabian Klockner. Great to see him on the chart. I think we've seen Fabian around much, but he is on pole position today with, of course, Apex Racing UK's Jamie Fluke alongside him on the front row of the grid. Then it's Maximilian Bandion in third alongside Michael Jeschler. Then it's Stuart McLaren, Jack McIntyre, Mike Horder, Daniel McCauley. Matthew Bunn starts in ninth with Joe Ciampa in 10th. Clark Williams starts in 11th, then behind that is John Roberts, Sam Blackwood, Rob Lindsay, Joseph Ringrace, Steph Le, William Hardman, Pete Harrod, John Paul Boyd, James West, Johnny Cullen, Gordon Much, Jesus Patel, Connor Pearson, Michael Taylor, Matt Marriott, Morgan Butler, Anthony Mott, Robert Plumley lines up in 29th. Then behind that is Michael Schieber, John Jarrett, Michael Bingham, Adrian Hendy, Jean-Luc Holmes, Austin Gallion, Josh Thompson, Jimmy Broadbent, great to see him up there, Ethan Ian, Alan Hayward, Alessandro Dalladone, Ben Summers, and Michael Levens rounding out this 41 car field. Great to see so many new names for this race. It's fantastic how the community has got around this issue and around this race as well. So great to see so many drivers out there, and the race for Alex is about to get underway here. It's Fabian Klockner from the pole position, and away we go here at Imola, and it's a very nice start there from Klockner, and perhaps not a very good start for Jamie Fluke. He might be losing out to Bandion straight away, and yes, he has. So not a great start for the Ferrari driver as they all swarm down into turn one. A little bit of a dive. Oh, and down the inside.
Oh.
Almost now there's contact. I think that is Bandion losing it. Fluke gets away unscathed. and the driver losing out there was Boyd. Boyd is still fine. Dreschler, apologies, dropping way down the field. Just misjudged his braking point there, and apart from that, we seem to have got a relatively clean start, seemingly, as Klockner pulls away from the lead. McFadden with a great start. Horder and Macaulay up 4 places each.
Yes, I mean, too bad for that contact there at the chicane, but apart from that, a clean start. 1 hour race, so I think these guys will have the chance to come back, as we have some fighting here for P33. Ethan Haywood is fighting it out with Daledonne and Jarrat, and actually making a position on the Italian driver, but back to the... Oh, big braking zone there. Oh, there's a car stopped. It's a Porsche. I'm trying to... I think it was Anthony Mott, exactly. As the cars go down to Acque Minerali, back to the front. Fabian Klockner really used this moment of chaos there in the first chicane, and really pulled away from the rest of the opposition.
Yeah, you can see the massive field spread already, about 8 seconds separating the top 13 drivers. And most drivers, they getting through clean. We'll see as many drivers making it to the finish. Of course, not too competitive a race this. These drivers, of course, will want to get as high up the grid as possible, but no championship or prizes, I believe, at the conclusion of this one. As Fabian Klockner,
there is a prize.
Oh, sorry. Apologies.
I will get to that in a bit, because I forgot to, write it somewhere, but I know there's a prize involved. Prize for the top 3. I think the prize for the race winner is £100, British
It's
pounds.
£50 in iRacing credit or Demon Tweaks vouchers, and then 30 quid of iRacing credits or Demon Tweaks for second, and then 15 quid for third position. So some pretty good prizes, I must say, out there, all being paid by Robbie, as we just see dropping down the order there with a slowdown.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was actually Robbie there, just losing out. Back to his starting position, seeming Fluke trying to make up some positions. He had, of course, a troublesome first lap as he gets really close to Jack McIntyre just ahead. McIntyre fighting with another driver just in front. And now we could see 3 wide here. Fluke trying to go through the middle of them, but it's such a narrow circuit this, they can't quite make it. Now, side by side through the chicanes, it's rare that we see this, but these drivers are really going at it well. And now Fluke will try to get the pair of them. There just isn't the room on the inside, though. And once again, the 2 drivers just in front of him blocking the circuit. It's Bunn on the outside, McIntyre on the inside, and Fluke trying to get involved as well. They still go side by side, but just running wide. There's Bunn, and always making contact. Surely there was a bit of contact. Well, they got away unscathed, and Bunn has lost 3 positions in just a couple of corners.
Yes, great action there, as in the front of the pack we see Klockner is at the Tamburello chicane, and now McFadden is really being closed in by Mike Horder in 3rd place, and then it's Macaulay and McIntyre. The event viewer is absolutely going bananas, and as many people start going to the pits for repairs, I'm quite confident we are going to have a mandatory pit stop somewhere in the race. But let's go back to this great battle for P7, because there are drivers fighting it out everywhere. Like you said, a very narrow track, not easy to pass, but I think that these drivers, don't really care about that tonight. They are, Roberts, and I see behind them Josh Thompson and Bandion around. Also, I think Rob Lindsay is around as well. Some damage to his rear wing there.
Yeah, so, well, it was all 3 of them then. So Bandion, wow, Thompson trying to go for the move. Bandion just makes a bit of contact, seeing the opportunity, and then he spins in front of Thompson as well. So the driver who started this race in 3rd position straight away moved up into 2nd position, and it's gone very southwards for him since then. Now here comes Daladone. He ought to be much further up the field himself. He's down the inside. Is there contact between the 2 of them? No, Daladone gets his way through. I don't quite know how he managed to get ahead there, because Bandion wasn't going to give it to him easily, and maybe just a little bit of aero damage for Bandion now, struggling to really keep right up the gearbox of that Porsche.
I'm surprised that Aledon didn't get a slowdown there, because it really threaded the needle by going that hard on the curb there at the Variante Alta. Also some trouble, I think, for Joseph Ringrose. He's way back. I think he's down to P22 right now. Here he is, fighting it out. Behind him is Andy and Draxler. Let's go back to the front because the battle for P3 is about to eat up with order. Now defending from Macaulay.
Yeah, both these drivers have had a fantastic start, up 4 positions each. And they've got quite a healthy gap as well to Fluke behind. As we see Clark Williams having a spin, dropping way down the order. We've already seen a few incidents down at the hairpin so far today. And here is another one for the 32 driver. And, well, a nice 9-point turn there from Clark to get back on his way. But he's lost plenty of time from it. Alessandro Dardoni now up 22 positions. Jimmy Broadbent up 21 positions. And will undoubtedly be streaming on some kind of platform, I imagine. Of course, if it's Racing TV, we'll be broadcasting this. In fact, we just... down the inside there goes Macaulay. Has he got it stopped? He almost did. He has. Great move there from Daniel Macaulay.
What a fantastic pass there, and I think it could very well be the move of the race, even though it's only 6 minutes in, as Ciampa is off at the Rivazza 1. I think some damage to his right side there. It's a, usually you go wide there, but you don't go that wide and hitting the wall, so let's get a replay of that.
Oh, he's made contact surely with this car.
Oh!
Ooh, yeah. So Macaulay still under pressure then after making that move. And Fluke has closed in on these guys massively. He's not the Ford straight behind these two, but he's the Ferrari. Oh, sorry, that is a Ferrari.
Yes.
Apologies. Oh, and now we've got a car in the wall. I think that was a lap down there.
Yeah, I think you are absolutely right. There was a car in between them. And it should be this one, this Ford.
Oh, okay, I'm not going blind then. That's good.
That Ford is a lap down. Should be Matt Marriott in this beautifully presented, I have to say, Ford GT. As also we have Morgan Butler in the gravel and back pointing in the right direction.
Just going to your earlier points about the fuel in this race, they are going to have to manage a pit stop. 75% the fuel is restricted, so I expect these drivers to go a maximum of 45 minutes. So in 7 minutes time, with the drivers who have got a few repairs to take out there, we might see them into the pits as order. Well, if he's going to beat Macaulay's move, he's going to have to do something quite spectacular. I'm waiting on it. He's now only 1 second ahead of Jamie Fluke behind, who's just rapidly closed in on these guys. Fluke is half a second a lap faster than the race leader, the driver who started on the front row of the grid, but had an issue in the opening few corners. And this will be a fantastic three-way battle between these guys.
I would love to go back to the start, but the action is so amazing right now that I'm afraid if we go back to a replay, something will happen between these three drivers here at the front, as once again the link for the donation on the Just Giving website is showing on your screen right now. As yeah, I think Macaulay is about to be attacked by order, which in turn he needs to defend from Fluke, and usually there is no way you can pass an opponent into the Variante Alta, but we've seen already a couple of moves up here tonight. So let's go also to Josh Thompson, making a nice comeback through the field as well. I think he gained 26 positions.
Yeah, and with a collision as well, of course, earlier on. So he's done very impressively so far, has Josh. Will he go to the inside here? No, just a little bit of a glance, maybe trying to put his rival off. It is so easy to miss your breaking point there. As Fluke, he's going to try to get one of these drivers, going to try to get past Mike Horder. And he's going to be pretty close to Dan Macaulay by the time they get into the braking zone. But stays behind for now very wisely. So he's up into P4, so he's nearly undone the damage, has Jamie Flick, but he is 8.5 seconds off the lead. If he can get through these positions right now, I wouldn't count him out of a potential race victory, but that's probably quite a long shot as they come up to a back
Oh,
marker.
Jamie
Luke
flew.
trying to take advantage of it. Macaulay gives him space, and they do incredibly well there not to make contact. They went 3 wide.
Yeah, there was also, I think, James West with that Porsche there, a lapped car, and he was very, very good in moving out of the way without causing too much trouble to these 3 guys here. Because we have a fight here between Bandion and Dalle Donne at the hairpin, and these 2 guys have been closing relentlessly on Jimmy Broadbent in front of them, but still they have to resolve the issue between themselves, I think, before they can maybe think about going ahead, because they have been fighting for the last 2 or 3 laps as we go back to the front.
And here comes Fluke down the inside into P3. Oh, and almost getting through there was Horner. I appreciate the effort there from Mike. He saw half a gap and thought he might try to put his nose in there, but it wasn't quite big enough. And he's going to have to get the move done on Macaulay on a later lap. Fluke, though, yeah, like I said, up into the top 3, but he is now 9 seconds off the race. He's going to have a perfect race from now to the finish if he's going to catch up to the race leader and cost Stuart McFadden in second place as well. Sam Blackwood has an issue coming out of the final corner.
Oh,
and that
careful
could be
there.
big problems. Oh, wow. Is that Dalladone into the pits?
Yes,
Not sure if he wanted to.
We will have to check a replay of this. Something happened, I think, up the hill. This is Jimmy Broadbent's car. And I think he had a problem at the Variante Alta. Yes, he lost the car. Dalledonne went straight by, so nothing major happening there. Let's see if something else happened down the hill, or if he just pitted because he didn't want to end up into the pit barrier there. Let's see.
Oh, now I don't think he wanted to go into the pits. He would have had to, that would have had to be some turn as he's coming out of the pits now. Such a dangerous pit exit we have here at Imola. Well, if Dalladone wins this race, he'd be up there with, you know, like Hamilton 08 at Monaco, where he broke the car basically, had to pit for repairs and casually went and won the race. I don't think he is going to win the race, to be honest, Dalladone, but it could be a fantastic call because he should just get to the end of the race from here without taking another pit stop, as long as he saves just a little bit of fuel, which we saw in the World GT Championship is very possible last night. As down the inside now goes Horder. Him and Macaulay have been glued together so far, and this time it's going to be Horder moving ahead. And Macaulay, though, he's got a decent run, a little bit of understeer for the pair of them, and now Macaulay really missing the apex on that second one, picking up a little bit of turbulent air as well, and well, down into fifth position. He's that one's going to continue for a while though. Ring race on the tail of Partal, and down the inside goes to 25. He's not going to get it stopped, and well, we're seeing plenty of fantastic attempted moves. Not all of them are being pulled off right now.
I don't know if you have trading paints open, but this VRT livery on the Ferrari makes it look like a different car. Because it seems more like, you know, a Audi R18 than a Ferrari 488 GT. So, strange livery, to say the least.
You expect far too much from me, Mark. Of course I didn't have trading paints on, but I have now put it on. So hopefully we'll hopefully appreciate that livery in the near future. As Anthony Mott running in 19th position. He's right on the tail of Michael Taylor. I'd just like to give a shout out to Gordon Much out there in 10th position, new driver on Apex Racing TV. He is a rookie out there, a rookie 2.83 safety rating according to our system, and he is absolutely mixing it with some very well established drivers right now, very experienced A-class drivers. So really well done to Gordon out there, probably new to iRacing. Hopefully we'll see plenty more of him in the future. He's holding back Steph Le and John Roberts very impressively right now.
Absolutely, I was surprised to be honest with you when I was looking at the timing screen the moment I jump into the session. I see, you know, usually we get a sea of blue, some black stripes here and there, some green stripes, and then I saw this red stripe, which means, you know, rookie driver. But he is absolutely holding his own out there. P10, now about to be P11. Hopefully we haven't jinxed him because... Oh!
Oh,
Oh!
oh
Oh,
no!
yes! It's the
Oh
jinx.
dear. Well, I can't even pin that on you, to be honest, Marco. I'll take that one. I'm so sorry, Gordon. What a curse. And hopefully you'll get back going again, but, oh dear. He was doing everything right out there. I wasn't fighting it too hard, but just a small wiggle with the rear end. That's a bit of a tongue twister. And out of the race he goes potentially. Here comes Josh Thompson, trying to get past his own teammate Matt Bunn, sorry. So Thompson just goes around the outside and makes that move with ease. And he's now up into 7th position. He is 20 seconds off the lead. Wouldn't rule him out of a potential podium, though. He can really keep this up.
I think we had an issue for Jimmy Broadbent somewhere. Maybe it was here. This Ford, let's see, at Acque Minerali. We've seen this mistake many times in the Euro V8s last Saturday, Sam. That
Yeah,
second
absolutely.
corner there is so tricky.
Oh, apparently Gordon's wheel died.
Oh.
Well, if that's not a curse, I don't know what is. I must say, that is proper witchcraft right there. Of course, Jimmy having that issue as well. Sorry?
That will explain why he stopped in the middle of the chicane there, because that was absolutely weird, seeing a car stop that way in the middle of the corner there. So I now get what happened. Let's get a replay of that from his own board.
Fortunately, the wheel isn't going to suddenly pop off the rack here. But
oh, look at that!
There you go. It's fallen full lock, full brakes as well. And that was why he didn't get back going again quickly.
So after 17 minutes of racing, we have around 20 cars on the lead lap, more or less. It has been, you know, intense opening quarter of an hour of the race. Maybe we have a bit more cars on the lead lap, and I'm not able to, you know, make some good calculations because I'm terrible at them. But still,
I think 27 is what I've got at least.
Yeah, it could be. That was John-Luke Holmes getting lapped. He's in P30, and 29th is Ben Summers here. As we have some hard battling. Oh, Bandion having a nightmare of a race, and I think he has had enough.
Don't blame him, to be honest. Max. Yeah, back to the pits he goes.
Again.
Oh dear. Well, I'm seeing the purple livery on him.
Yeah,
and
look at the front of the car.
Superb.
Look at the front of the car. It seems like it has a nose instead of
a
straight.
Well done.
I know that in his team they love the Audi R18, so maybe that's what they were going for. Also, it's a bit damaged there, so maybe that will contribute a little bit more to the effect of being a, you know, a car with a nose instead of a, you know, traditional bonnet in a GT car. As I think, yes, we can go back to the front. Fabian Klockner is leading in this red and white Ford GT. Behind him is Stuart McFadden with this very, very cool looking Kaspersky Ferrari livery, reminding us of the, you know, some of the privateers entering the GT3 championships by Ferrari. And then behind him is Jamie Fluke, who made a great comeback. Let's go back to the start, Sam.
Yes.
And see what happened.
And Fluke is now racing along. He was about half a second lap faster than the race leader, but this is why he is currently still 9 seconds behind the race leader. On the outside, he gives up the position pretty easily, and then down the inside there, can't remember which driver it was, pick up a massive slowdown Fluke here, and he has to slow right to a crawling pace to serve that slowdown.
Exactly, I'm trying to get to I think it might have been no, Michael Drexler, maybe. Yes.
Innocent mistake, wasn't it? Really just so difficult on that opening lap.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, with these cars, as you don't have any kind of help with your braking. Sometimes, especially in the very beginning of the race, it's tough to get a good idea about your braking zone, and you are trying to gain positions. You know that it's a tough track to pass this one, so you want to make sure you don't end up in the back of the field or stuck behind some slower drivers, and that's what maybe caused him to misjudge his braking into the first chicane there, as Jamie Fluke now, with the help of some lapped cars, has really closed in on Stuart McFadden, and I think the battle between these two will eat up very quickly. 0.5 of a second between these two guys, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Jamie Fluke's car seems to be okay, with no kind of damage on it.
Yeah, that's what I can see at least. Great livery, of course, on the Apex Racing UK team. As Joe just comes out of the pits. It's always very difficult round this, so especially when you're going for a move, you can see how narrow the circuit is. So if you're too wide and then Joe comes out of the pits, 3 wide into that first corner, well, we saw on the first lap, it does not usually go well. As Fluke now, wow, he's only 0.3 of a second behind. He's on that last lap, caught the race leader by 1.2 seconds. The traffic really influencing this race at the moment. A wide range of kind of skill sets currently being shown by the drivers. It's difficult for these top drivers to pass the slightly slower ones, as McFadden still 0.3 of a second ahead, and to be fair, the backmarkers are doing a fantastic job realizing that they're not in a battle right now and they'll just let these drivers go.
Exactly, and I think as they go down to Acque Minerali, look at the amount of lapped cars there, but like you're saying, they are behaving quite nicely, but you know, it only takes a slight misunderstanding to ruin a race as they go down to the chicane, and now this lapped car in particular will help Stuart McFadden a bit, which is, you know, in the nature of sports car racing. That is, I think, Michael Shiba, exactly, as he gets passed now by Jamie Fluke there. Also joining us in the chat on YouTube is the John Roberts fan club, so who are we to deny them a little bit of camera time for John, and here he is with his beautiful black and green Porsche car.
Black is certainly the new colour for liveries, I think, in the world of motorsport. Anyone who's seen the F1 liveries, they all have a bit of black on them, and John is certainly sporting that colour very well. He's a bit by himself though, 18 seconds to catch up to Pete Hurd up the road. Michael Dreschler though is catching him behind. Dreschler on that last lap was 0.7 of a second quicker. The battles have just calmed down a little bit after that frantic opening few laps. We had a few drivers completely out of position after not being able to complete qualifying. Of course, qualifying wasn't attached to this session, it was a couple of days ago. So we had some drivers out of position, as we see Thompson, and a little bit... What's happened to Thompson? Sorry, Thompson's just got past McIntyre. Apologies,
Yes.
Got very confused there. He's now about 18 seconds off the race leaders. Dreschler now comes into the pits. This will be his one and only pit stop.
Yeah, now that I think about it, we have a nice on-screen graphic for the gap between the drivers. Thank once again to Pascal for his great work. And here we go, the time delta between the leader and Josh Thompson, and you can see it has been growing exponentially since the beginning of the race. Of course, it's not all down to pace, but also, you know, to having to make many overtakes. Josh Thompson has gained 30 positions since the very beginning of the race, so he has been involved in many overtakes. Speaking of overtakes, look at this fight for P2.
Here we go, Jamie Fluke. Will he go to the outside? McFadden will fend hard as they go neck and neck going into turn 1. This lap 16 of the race. Fluke round the outside through turn 1. He will have the inside for the second part of the chicane. Over the curbs he goes. A little bit of contact between the two of them. Now, who'll have the better run out of this one? Fluke just pulling ahead now. There's pretty much nothing between them. Will McFadden back out? No, he's trying to keep his nose in there, but Fluke round the outside and will have the inside for the second part. Now, can go for the dummy. Can McFadden? No, the room just wasn't there. Fluke way too experienced for that move, and Jamie Fluke up in the second position. But it was not easy. That was a fantastic move.
Very, very nice racing there for from Fluke and McFadden, and Jamie Fluke now is up to P2 and finally back to his starting position after, you know, oh, he's wide at Acqua Minerali. That's going to be a big slowdown, Sam. McFadden will get the position.
Yeah, and speeding across the grass there probably wasn't the best thing to do either. Well, surely he's picked up a slowdown from that. He seems fine, though. You could argue he hasn't gained any time, but he did cut a corner pretty much.
Yeah, racing doesn't like you cutting at the corner, regardless of how much time you gain or lose. So, but it's true that, you know, the more you go into the race, the more the slowdowns are balanced, so to speak. We are on lap 17 right now. Lap 16 was where Fluke got the off track, so it doesn't seem like he lost too much time. And look at the speedo there, speedometer bottom right. He's absolutely pushing hard, and there's a car into the gravel there. It was a lapped car. Yeah, seems to be all good for Jamie Fluke, and the battle with Stuart McFadden will resume, I guess, very, very soon. Let's stay on board with him, because we can get this nice perspective of two drivers not only fighting for position, but, you know, fighting between and, you know, slicing and dicing between the lapped cars, and that is what sports car racing is all about. Of course, today it's only one class, but it's you know, we saw that also on Saturday in the Sebring 90-minute special event. Of course, how lap traffic can be a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. It affected a lot of drivers on that day. Fortunately, it hasn't affected these drivers too much. Once again, the back markers doing an awesome job of staying out to the way. Huge compliment to those drivers.
Oh, we lost Mike Order.
Spinners. Oh, Mike Order round, and he's going to drop down the order. Was running in 4th position ahead of Daniel McCauley. Had actually pulled away from McCauley by a couple of seconds. Well, not anymore. He's 7 seconds behind McCauley now, and this is why losing it to the second part of Acqua Minerale this time.
Yeah, and then he lost it once again, trying to get, I mean, didn't lose it, but he lost time trying to get into pointing the right direction. Oh, that corner is one of my favorite corners in the world, and you know, I don't have many good words for Italian motorsport or Italian tracks in general, but Acqua Minerali is absolutely a fantastic piece of racetrack, and it has got many drivers out Saturday, like we said, in the Euro V8s, and the same is happening tonight. Despite these cars, you know, having traction control, so they have a little bit more, you know, electronic help compared to the Euro V8s, but still, I mean, Jamie Fluke is one of the best drivers in all of iRacing, and still he gets caught out by that particular corner.
Yeah, because Jamie, a multiple podium driver in the iRacing Grand Prix World Championship Series, as Josh Thompson goes past Daniel McCauley. Will McCauley respond here? No, he has a little bit too much respect, I think, for Thompson to give that one. Realises that Thompson is fast. Oh, Fluke's dropped it again. And, well, yeah, multiple podiums in the World Championship. Doesn't really represent too much here in this race. And look at this. Now Thompson's going to be really close to him. Thompson batting his way through the traffic. Just getting past a back marker, but he's not going to be able to make it. And now there's going to be contact. And Thompson just about squirming his way through. Almost making contact was McCauley there, but he would just slide his way through. And Thompson there, well, that's the awkwardness. I didn't think there was too much wrong from either driver. Just a really awkward situation.
I said, okay, I'm going to pass. I'm making the move. And it was a crazy move indeed. Let's get a replay of what happened to first of all to Jamie Fluke, and then we get a replay of the pass by Thompson. Same mistake as almost collecting Stuart McFadden there. And then if we jump on board with Josh Thompson, we see I mean, this is a super tricky situation. Lapped cars left and right fighting for position behind him. And then he says, you know, there's a little bit of space. He also gets a bit of damage there. But he makes it stick. Crazy, crazy racing so far. We've seen many overtakes there at Variante Alta, which is something that is really surprising me.
Yeah, definitely, because even lapping there can be a challenge on occasion. As we go back to this battle, it's still cool to know who's on the lead lap, who's not, because there's so many drivers a little bit out of position at the moment. But here is Dalladone. He's been stuck behind Blackwood for quite a few laps. 0.4 of a second between the two of them. Dreschler gets himself involved. Dreschler was half a second faster than Dalladone on the last lap. And it's great to see. Is this 3 different cars? Yes, it is. It's 3 different manufacturers. Absolutely awesome. And maybe we can do a little bit of evaluation of which is the fastest cars. Williams moves through. Not sure if that was a driver for position losing out. Oh, sorry, Williams dropping some positions. Apology.
Oh, he got spooked by that red Ferrari blocking, locking the wheels there. He went wide, and then you know, he lost 1 position, he gained 1 position, and he gained another one there. So you know, all good in the end. But it's always crazy to, you know, see a car in front of you locking the brakes. Once again, these cars don't have ABS, so it's massively important that you get your braking right. Now, I could, you know, pick up the phone and call the driver that right now is in P16 and tell him, ask him, are you good on fuel or not? But since, you know, we are on TV, we need to get have the viewers excited until the end. I will not do that. And yes, Daledon answers to the phone when you call him while he's racing.
Well, we've had other drivers who watched the stream and would chat on the YouTube stream whilst they're racing.
That is, of course, Ringrose's teammate, Dylan Mann, of course.
Okay, yeah.
Also, speaking of Joseph Ringrose, we have an issue, sadly, for him. He towed back to the pits, but I don't know why. So, I think game over for him. He's still sitting there. I think he won't come back on the racetrack as Macaulay went by Josh Thompson.
Wow, so maybe that damage for Thompson, giving a little bit too much for him. These top drivers like Fluke and Thompson, you know, so competitive. A couple of the best GT drivers in the world of iRacing. And yet they are making mistakes and they are really struggling up there. Shows the difficulty of this Imola circuit. As Thompson comes into the pits, don't really blame him. No faster pair for these drivers, so he'll probably, whilst he's taking some fuel... Well, you can't even take optional repairs whilst he's taking fuel though, so... For the drivers who've got damage, really ominous for them. As we see Jimmy Broadbent just ahead of Matt Bunt. Jimmy, after a couple of excursions, start 27 positions so far in his Ford. A little bit of damage, I think, on that car, but getting away with it. So Thompson will come out of the pits ahead of these drivers, I believe. Next up for Broadbent will be Cullen. And on that last lap, Broadbent was 3 seconds faster than his fellow Ford competitor.
Here comes Josh Thompson out of the pits. In the meantime, will he stay in front of this battle? Yes, he will. Will Piterod stay in front of these guys? I think it's going to be close and he won't be able. Here they come. Yes, here comes Broadbent. Here comes Ban. So yeah, he will be in P12. Other close battles, we have Drexler here fighting with Blackwood, who goes past, I think, by Daledon right now, just a few moments ago. Ciampa is in front of them, and remember, he has a damaged Ferrari. Look at the front right there. He hit the wall in Rivazza 2 after colliding with another car.
It's just a back marker that Ciampa is currently trying to get past. Finding it a little bit difficult at the moment. It's incredible seeing these drivers who have had 1 or 2 crashes out there and yet are still doing incredibly well. As we see back at the lead, Fabian Klockner 10 seconds out in the lead, 11 seconds even, as
Oh!
Broadbent has an issue. He's going to lose out to Matt Bunn, crucially, and that could be very costly for Jimmy. He's still ahead of Cullen then, who he got past at the end of the last lap, I believe. And Howard as well, although Howard's really close now to Cullen. Howard already making his pit stop, so he's kind of ahead of these drivers already, in reality. And he's going alongside a driver, I believe. And yeah, Bunn just losing out, in fact, back to Broadbent once again.
So I'm looking at the lap times. Jamie Fluke is lapping around 0.6 of a second faster than Stuart McFadden and around a couple of tenths faster than Fabian Klockner in the lead, but he really cannot afford any more mistakes there. He lost the car twice in consecutive laps at the Acque Minerali corner, so he has a lot of ground to make up if he wants to come back to the race lead, and also if he wants to come back to Stuart McFadden. So you know, we could see maybe the race play out in a particular way during the pit stops. Let's see what happens now, especially when the top guys at the pointy end of the field will decide to come in for their pit stop. We might have a clearer idea about what's happening in this race.
Yeah, I think so. Fluke, the only World Championship driver out there, he's got a perfect record. World Championship 4.99 safety rating. His Bunn goes back past Broadbent. We saw this similar in the World GT yesterday, a fantastic event in terms of the strategy, because no one wanted to be in front of one another because they had to fuel save, so you wanted the slipstream on your rival. I don't think that's the logic behind this battle. It's just that they cannot seem to not make a mistake whilst ahead of one another, and Bunn almost gifting the position back once again. Harrod getting involved in this one then. So Harrod getting involved, it's Broadbent. It's a Broadbent sandwich where the C-car drivers are the bread. And Broadbent will be closing in extremely fast. Will he be slicing through like warm butter here as he goes to the outside? But Bunn with a good defense. It does put him a little bit offline. Now Broadbent trying to take a lot of the second curve as Thompson has another issue. And he's dropped behind Roberts now. The driver who's already made a pit stop. And that could be very costly for his chances of a podium.
Yes, and these guys now are closing in even more as they go through the dust kicked up in the air by the spinning Trustmaster Mivano Racing Ford, as Bunn and Broadbent are side by side going up the hill towards Piratella.
Trying to get involved as well, just behind is Harrod, but he just drops out of it, and now it's Broadbent going back in front. Quite incredible. 4 overtakes now between these two, I believe. But Bunn, he's almost made contact and now holding up his own teammate. Probably worth letting Pete pass because Pete does seem a little bit faster out there. But he's not going to get it done into this this chicane. So this is the battle for 9th and 10th with Broadbent just ahead. As we go back to the Macaulay Fluke. Sorry, I'm getting confused where everyone is on circuit now, but it's yeah, it's Macaulay, McIntyre, and Horder as well. Macaulay's done a great job after not a after battling with Horder earlier on. Horder actually closing back in as Thompson has had another issue. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, he went wide at the Tamburello chicane. Now this afternoon he promised me he was going to put on a show, but I think he's putting on a show for the marshals near the marshal post because he went through the gravel several times and they won't be happy, and now he's gone.
Well, he had a system failure yesterday in the World GT Championship. I wonder if he's maybe had the same. This time only a client has manually disconnected rather than a received throughput issue. But hopefully we'll get to the bottom of this, I'm sure. Josh will go on to the YouTube chat as into the pits. Comes down Macaulay, expects pretty much all the drivers in the next 5 minutes or so. Like I said earlier on, about 45 minutes of fuel, and we just tick to the 40-minute mark. Expect them in soon. McIntyre losing out to Horder. Great recovery drive this from Horder, although he needs to make the move first and he hasn't quite done it. Nice defense there from McIntyre. Seemingly kind of just giving him the position, but nope. Sticking around the outside and had the ideal line for the second part of the corner.
You know, that is such a weird chicane as McIntyre goes a bit wide. Also, his connection is playing some games on him because he keeps disappearing and reappearing, and that, Sam, I think it's one of the worst nightmares for a driver following another driver, especially, you know, in a close battle like this, because it really throws your timing off. You know that you are, you know, braking using your brake markers, etc., but, you know, having a car disappearing and reappearing right in front of you is so annoying, and I mean, there's nothing that can be done about it. And you also start thinking, will he reappear right in front of me? Will be, you know, one inside the other when he reappears? Will we have a crash? So it's never easy. Not as bad as when it happens on the ovals, but still very annoying.
Yeah, I can imagine on the ovals it must be quite horrendous. Of course, anyone who raced in the Daytona 24 hours this year, the official iRacing event, will know the pains of a bad connection, as Horder has another issue. He just doesn't want to make it easy for himself. I give credit for him because he's making a very entertaining race for us at the moment. But I will feel bad if he doesn't get a podium out of this one. Harrod just behind Bunn still, so they haven't dropped off Broadbent. And in fact, Duaco Minerale, Broadbent, with a little bit of a poor corner there, had a decent second part. Harrod, of course, already making his pit stop. He doesn't need to make any more pit stops. He's just waiting for these two drivers ahead to pit any lap now, and then he'll have a clean piece of circuit just ahead.
Just take a look very quickly at the gap between P1 and P3, that is Fabian Klockner and Jamie Fluke, and see what the clock shows us. And this gap is increasing slightly, but it's increasing in the past it's decreasing, my apologies, but very slightly, 1.3 seconds in the last 5 laps. The gap between P2 and P3, as we have a car pointing the wrong way, which is I think a lapped car. McFadden and Fluke, the gap now down to 3.3 seconds, but back to the battle here as they go through the Villeneuve chicane.
You could just watch Bunn and Broadbent for this entire race, to be honest, because they just cannot pull away from one another. Still, Harrod's waiting behind. He's just telling, you know, when are you guys going to come into the pits? I'd quite like some clean air, because he's losing quite a bit of time at the moment, but I'm sure he's got a fantastic seat in the house currently. This is where Broadbent was.
Sorry, Sam. Speaking of pits, Stuart McFadden is the first of the, you know, top guys blinking, because he goes in for his pit stop, and it's now down to P5. Maybe will drop down a bit more, but yeah, he's the first guy. Let's see if Klockner, Fluke, McIntyre and Horder respond.
Yeah, we already had Macaulay into the pits as well. Macaulay should be quite far behind McFadden, but it'll still be interesting to see what the gap between the two of them is, as McFadden has now exited the pits once again. He is down into 5th position, 11 seconds ahead of Roberts. As Broadbent is in, and yeah. Bunn, you can see by the flashing of his lights, delighted. And now it'll be interesting to see if he can get the overcuts on his rival.
So of course now it should be mandatory for Harrod and Bunn to not fight each other, as the race leader Fabian Klockner is in.
Should lose the lead to Jamie Fluke, unless Fluke goes into the pits, in which he duly does. Might lose it to McIntyre then. Might have a different race leader. I think that'd be good for the race to have a different race leader. Give someone else a glimpse. Will Jack carry on his way? No, he won't. I think Klockner may have stayed in front of him anyway. Horder also in.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely amazing to think that 45 minutes have already gone by in this 1 hour event, as lap 28 starts right now, and Fabian Klockner is still your leader. Let's see the other guys who pitted, who's going to come out first. It's Jamie Fluke now. Where is Stuart McFadden? Here he is.
Oh, way behind.
Here comes Fluke. And here is McFadden. So Fluke gets the jump, but now he has a bit of lap traffic to contend with, and this will make... Oh!
Oh, ho, ho.
Stuart McFadden risking a lot with this red Ferrari. I think that was... Anthony Mott? No, it's not. We will get to the bottom of this, but still, this will make, of course, Fabian Klockner very, very happy, because if Fluke had any kind of residual chance of making a run for the race win, you know, he's a long way back. But still, going through the lapped cars didn't help at all, and now Stuart McFadden as well needs to fight between... needs to fight the lapped cars, and then he might have a crack at Jamie Fluke, even though Fluke has shown to have a bit more pace. The only one left in the top, in the race at all, to pit, it's John Roberts. So once again, let's make his fan club happy and show him go up the hill happily towards the Variante Alta.
Yeah, I hope he isn't spluttering across the line here into the pits. It's a long pit lane as well. Hopefully he'll be having one of the early pit stalls. But he'll enjoy being up in 4th position. The Joe's probably fighting for about 12th or 13th position, I think, out there. We'll wait and see when he, car number 86, makes his stop. I assume he'll be in on this time, yes, as we expected. Gets it down to the speed limiter, one of the most difficult circuits to get the car stopped for the speed limits. And then, of course, like I said, one of the longest in the world after they refurbed it, I believe, in 2009, I want to say. I'm not quite sure. Made it
to be honest, I have no idea. But yeah.
It's a grade A circuit now, so it could be used for World Endurance Championship F1, but neither has come to this place yet. Seeing as the World Endurance Championship went to Interlagos, I feel like this circuit would probably be
we
possible.
got European Le Mans Series a few years ago, so...
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
Roberts losing some positions. Dalle Donne in P10, of course, big doubts about his fuel right now, because of his, let's say, unscheduled pit stop, which is a nice way to say he entered in the pits in order to avoid being smashed by a spinning opponent. But, you know, who knows? I know that he's not very good at saving fuel, so he's a very aggressive driver, so we have a storyline to follow from now until the end of the race. But not only this, because we have other battles. Here comes John Roberts. He's putting pressure on Sam Blackwood. It's Porsche versus Ford.
Yeah, no chance of a no-take round this part of the circuit. He's going to have to wait till Ratza, the end of the circuit. So easy to pick up a slowdown there, like we've already talked about, or just get an awful run. In fact, that time it was Blackwood with a much better run than his rival Roberts. And yeah, I'm sure this battle will go right to the end. Maybe running a little bit wide there was Blackwood, who's behind these guys. In fact, it's Robert Lindsay who's got to make another pit stop behind. So he's going to drop down a few places. Then it's Broadbent and Williams and co.
Oh!
Cullen. And he's all on 2 wheels as well. And he's collided with Steph Lur, I believe.
Yes, that was a weird overtake. That says, sorry, a weird crash. Okay, so they were 3 wide. Okay, that was not going to work, let's say. I know that in his youth years, in his F3000 years, Juan Pablo Montoya liked to do some overtakes on the grass, especially at the old Hockenheim. But you know, Juan Pablo is a character, and you know, it was dangerous as well. So I don't think the other drivers were very happy. But still, you know, when you try to pass on the grass, it's always tough to get the car in a... I mean, it can be done. I don't recommend doing it, of course. It's so difficult to control a car, especially you know, a GT car on the grass.
Yeah, of course, some criticisms of iRacing. Some people accuse the grass of being too slippery. If anything, if it is a bit too slippery, it does, you know, help keep the drivers within the confines of the circuit, unlike other games, to be fair. But maybe not absolutely 100% realistic, as Macaulay losing time to Horder. Now, come on, Mike, you make this one easy. Just go past him. There you go, down the inside, outbrake him, and then pull away. Nice one, Mike. And, well, I say that because he's made a couple of mistakes as Mike in this race, which has maybe prevented him from scoring even a second position, potentially. These two were fighting over third and fourth positions earlier on. Now, Horder's got only 2 seconds to catch up to McIntyre, so that's very possible for him. And, the fuel not going to really play too much of a part for these drivers. And we'll keep an eye on his lap times. He was he was half a second faster than McIntyre on that last lap. And we've got 8 minutes to go in this race, so he might just reach there in time. As Rob Lindsay comes in for his second pit stop of the day.
Here he comes in from P13, and he last stopped on lap. No, it doesn't show it anymore on the live timing. So we will see if you know, other drivers who pitted early will need to come in, or if they manage to save enough fuel. Of course, also he was involved in a crash earlier, so you know, with some damage you also have a little bit more fuel consumption because the car is not as aero efficient as you would like it to be.
Oh, Macaulay's round. Well, he's cut the corner a bit, but I don't think that side could have gone much better for him. He's still 9 seconds ahead of Pete Harrod.
Yeah, he got very lucky in there. One battle that could, like you said, really ignite soon is this one. Jack McIntyre P4, and hunting him down is Mike Order, as we have a Porsche, I think that is Lou, is in the gravel there. And of course Jack McIntyre has to contend with some lapped cars. So we will see if he's going to be able to keep Mike at bay. We have 7 minutes left to the white flag as Macaulay mows a bit more grass at Villeneuve chicane. You know, one thing that people don't, I don't know if you, I was very surprised when I first went to Imola there, as Dalle Donne is showing in red. I think he went wide a bit there. I was saying at the Villeneuve chicane here, if you look on the right, no, on the left of your screen now, it's where I had my seat for the 2002 Grand Prix. And something that I was really surprised by, the grass is not like, you know, a football pitch grass. It was in fact full of daisies. All these flowers in the runoff area of a Formula 1 Grand Prix. I was so surprised by that. I don't know if it's Italian way
the
of...
most picturesque circuit in the world.
I couldn't really believe it because I think I don't know if it's the same in other parts of the world. I don't remember seeing daisies at Spa or at Mugello in the runoff area in the grass, but who knows?
Certainly weren't any at Silverstone when I went there. Okay. So I think this circuit or the Red Bull Ring, in terms of the views and just the nature around the circuit, I think they're the top 2 circuits in the world. I certainly can't think of any others which rival it. Maybe Spa as well, just for the forest, and of course the Nordschleife as well. But that's just some trees, a lot of them. Of course, all laser scans on iRacing, quite incredible that. And yeah, has been absolutely perfectly preserved on the sim. Has Jack McIntyre 1.8 seconds behind Mike Horder. We should just remind you, of course, why we're here today, and it's for the charity Beautiful Inside and Out. And Robbie Lindsay, he's been gathering a lot of money for that charity for the past few months. Has so far raised close to £1,400. Quite a fantastic effort. A lot of that money coming from this event. And of course, if you haven't already, please do donate whatever you can. As Robbie did say, anything helps, of course, when it comes to a cause like this. So it would be super appreciative. And I'm sure Robbie will be absolutely elated with the way that this event has gone, not only with the amount of sign-ups and the amounts of course, money raised from this event, but also how entertaining it has been as well. And of course, his race hasn't been perfect, but to be fair, 14th position for him. I think he'd be pretty happy with that one. As we go into the final 4 minutes of this race. And of course, out in the lead, it is still Fabian Klockner. 12.5 seconds ahead of Jamie Fluke. Fluke has, you think that spin that Fluke had, maybe losing him.
2 spins.
Well, the second one, though, was far more costly, with the second one play costing him, what, 7 seconds? The first one costing him 2.5, I'd say.
And the
then
big spins,
just...
sorry, the big off track in the beginning, that was not his fault, of course.
That lost him about 8 seconds as well.
I don't know if he could have won the race, but I'm sure he could have really put on a show, battling it out with Fabian Klockner for the race win. But, that's the way it goes. And that's why we love, long races. Because, yes, you have time to make up for a mistake. But, on the other side, a mistake you make at the very beginning of the race can effectively snowball. As we have, is that a barbecue or a broken car there?
Well, I think they crashed a couple of laps ago. We're desperately trying to find who, buried into the wall. We were talking about the picturesque and the nature. I think that could cause a fire or something to one of the trees. And yeah, someone with a bit of a barbecue to start off near the end of this race.
Maybe it was Johnny Callan. No, it wasn't, because he was at Acqua Minerali. Maybe it was Michael Taylor. No, he wasn't. Or maybe Clark Williams. No, there's a mystery car.
Someone's just popped onto the track. We have no idea.
And there's a lot of smoke, of course, into the start-finish line, which is, by the way, it's exactly where the track makes that little kink on the front stretch. So yeah, drivers need to be careful. Hopefully the car towed back to the pits, as Fabian Klockner is about to start.
Summers, by the way.
Oh, Ben Sanders, okay. So we will get a replay very, very soon. I think we are about to start the final lap of this race with our race leader starting right now, lap 36.
You know what? I think it's honestly right on the edge. I think we'll get one more after this one. But Fabian, if he wants to slow down a bit, doesn't feel like doing another lap, he could certainly do that and make a end this race a bit early. Ben Summers, well, he's already off the circuit. Oh dear, and makes big contact with another car. He proceeds to drive a little bit further, but you can see it's gone at Ferrari. I do remember there was a bit of a joke of how it used to set on fire. I think they've addressed those issues, but when you put it into the wall like this, what do you expect? It's still okay. The fire hasn't properly ignited at this point. And I think he's going to find the wall once again using the motorbike circuit here.
I think he wants to just enjoy the view of the finish of the race, basically, because he parked right there.
There you go.
And he's still there. He's right below the lights. So good for him. Gets the best seat in the house for free.
Yeah. Well, the cost of a Ferrari engine.
Oh, okay. And team's going to pay for it, usually.
Yeah. 20 seconds to go. Fabian Klockner. Will he feel like doing another lap, or is he going to cruise to the line here? He's got 10 seconds. Is he going to go for it? He's coming up to the line. Is it the checker flag this time?
One more lap.
It is not. One more lap to go. I think he may have tried to slow down a little bit there, did Fabian. He didn't feel like doing another lap, but fine, I'll do another one. He's got quite a bit of fuel in there. He did have a slightly longer pit stop than his rivals. And so that will be no issue to him.
Someone who is saving fuel is the guy in P10.
That's it. Oh, he's got this lap and another to go.
Yes.
Oh, I don't think it's going to happen for Alessandro. I'm not quite sure. Might need a helping hand from John just behind.
Yeah, we had a similar issue last Wednesday in the Racing Le Mans series, where the top two, the pole sitter and the second place driver, Farber and Wolf, both had a black flag at the start of the race, so they had to pit at the end of the, I think at the end of the first or second lap. So, I mean, they went in, and them going into the pits basically slowed the pace of everyone just a bit. And what happened is that the checkered flag came out, the white flag came out 1 lap later than expected. And so many drivers had to park the car because they were out of fuel at Le Mans. So.
Oh, dear. It's a long old circuit as well, so you don't want to be told you have to do one more. As Damien Klockner, he's already had to do one more. This will be it. The driver in first position is going to take first position in the race for Alex. Fabian Klockner crosses the line at Imola. And that was a very impressive drive. Was completely faultless, whilst everyone else, I think, had at least a couple of offs. He was faultless out there. Jamie Fleek, he's going to finish in second position, despite a couple of spins and an incident on the first corner of the race. And for Apex Racing UK, he ends up on the podium. Stuart McFadden, he pretty much drove faultlessly. Fantastic third for him. And then behind that will be Jack McIntyre. In the end, Mike Horder really not being able to put much pressure on McIntyre. Great pace near the end for Jack, and a nice fourth position for him. Mike Horder in fifth position, Dan McCauley in sixth, and Pete Howard will be in seventh position. Anyone else? What about Dalladone? Is he going to make it? He's got 0.3 of a lap to go. And, well, you can hear that engine not spluttering for now. He looks to be okay.
Yeah, let's hope we can get to the final.
Actually, I think he's already lost a...
No, he's still in 10th place. He's still in 10th place. He's gapping a bit John Roberts. And he's able, I don't know how, to come to the... Please don't crash the car. Oh no, oh no.
Oh, he's... Oh,
nice.
Fantastic slide.
There's a... Okay, they are all putting on a show for the... there's a flying car there. I think they had...
Wow, that's...
Okay.
Up to the moon.
I think they had... that was pre-arranged. I might hope to have a mega party at the start-finish line. But still, we had a very, very enjoyable evening, you know, with this race. And I think that is everyone safe and sound, more or less, back home to the start-finish line. And so, I think we can give you the race results for the evening.
Yes, and it's Fabian Klockner who wins out here at Imola, a faultless drive from pole position. Jamie Fleek, a little bit of a convoluted route to second position, but he did clinch in the end. Stuart McFadden in third. Jack McIntyre was very strong in fourth place, with Mike Horder in fifth. It'll be a little bit frustrating. Maybe a podium was maybe possible for him. Daniel McCauley carrying a bit of damage near the end in sixth. Pete Howard, good performance from him from 18th on the grid to finish in 7th, with Matt Bunn in 8th. Michael Dreschler finished in 9th position, with Alessandro Dalladone in 10th. He only just beat John Roberts across the line in 11th. And then the drivers one lap down, Jimmy Broadbent had a couple of great battles out there. He gained 25 positions from his grid. Clark Williams, as we just see a car, well, at least I just saw a car absolutely screaming across the gravel jet. Clark Williams was in 13th place. Then Sam Blackwood in 14th. Joe Champa in 15th. Then it's Jesus Partel in 16th. Robbie Lindsay was in 17th with Johnny Cullen in 18th. Then Stepler in 19th and Adrian Hendy in 20th position. Behind that was Michael Taylor, John Jarrett, Robert Plumley, Anthony Mott, Michael Schubert, John Paul Boyd, Mitchell Levens, Matt Marriott, James West, Michael Bingham, John Luke Holmes, William Hardman, Ben Summers, Morgan Butler, Josh Thompson, Austin Gallion, Joseph Ringrose, Maximilian Bandion, Gordon Much, Connor Pearson, and Ethan Ian Allen Hayward. And hopefully we will have some interviews with drivers. Is anyone waiting for us?
Yeah, I think
don't
Robbie
think...
Lindsay is about to come. He just joined the
Oh, awesome.
Discord, so I think he's setting everything up. We are waiting just a bit for him. While we wait for him, let's just give a quick rundown. Oh no time to give a quick rundown of the. We'll do that after this interview because here he is, Robbie Lindsay. Here, Sam, take it away.
Yes, great to talk to you, Robbie. You must be delighted with how this event went, with all the cash, built up for Beautiful Inside and Out. You must be, delighted with this.
I'm absolutely humbled, Sam and Marco. The response was amazing. I'm actually still to look to see how much we've raised in total, but I can guarantee that every penny will help someone going through a tough time just now. It was a fantastic event, a fantastic response, and I know a lot of people and a lot of Alex's friends have watched it. His mum, his sister, his auntie. There's people all over the world watching it just now. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody who's watched it, and thank you to you guys and Apex Racing TV for hosting it.
Absolutely. It was an awesome battling out there. Just going to your race. How was it out there? We saw you had a couple of spins, but on the most part it was clean, and you got to the finish in one piece.
Yeah, I think I was a bit eager on the first lap, we'll say, Sam, and I had 3 slowdowns on the second lap, and then a fast repair. Yeah, but I was happy just to attend and have a race with everybody else there and basically just go round. That's all I was wanting to do, and I hope everybody enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. And I'm not sure if I did proper justice earlier on, but let's just go through kind of what Beautiful Inside and Outs kind of do for people going through a tough time. Just kind of explain the whole premise of it.
Well, they do therapy sessions for young adults, mainly. It could be from somebody who's recovering from a loss of a loved one, or they're actually going through a tough time themselves, and they go around schools, therapy sessions, and it's all different types of therapy sessions, from musical to drama. So it gets people involved, and it's run by one special lady called Pauline, who unfortunately lost her child as well. So she's absolute star of a person, and she runs this charity all on her own. So the more help we could give her, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great to talk to you today, Robbie. Before we let you go, any shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you, obviously, to iRacing and everybody who attended, but a special thank you to Matt Bunn from CQR and Daniel McCauley from CQR. They helped organise. And I would also like to say thank you for all the streamers, Jimmy B, Robert Plumley, Gamer Muscle, Jack McIntyre. They also put the word out there. And thank you very much, guys. I'm humbled. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Our pleasure, Robbie. Thanks. And hopefully we'll see you on Apex Racing TV soon.
Thank you very much, guys. Good night.
Good night, man. Okay, we have now, I think, Daniel McCauley, who finished in P6, and he should be with us right now. Hello, Dan.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Doing good. It has been a An interesting race at the top of the field for you. There's been many, many nice battles. How has your evening gone tonight?
Oh, the race was great. It was fun being up, mixing it up in the top 10. There was a few issues with traffic, cost me some places, and then obviously I had the damage at the end. But to be honest, I was just more happy to be taking part in the event than the actual result, to be honest.
Yeah, and I saw, usually Imola is not a track where famous for its many overtaking spots, but I saw you guys really, really enjoying yourselves out there, making moves in corners where usually there is no way you can make a pass. And all in all, it was a very, very exciting race, considering Imola being a tough track to pass.
Yeah, it was really exciting. I think everyone just had that little incentive to try and put on a good show, considering the cause that we're all racing for. And I watched the broadcast back, but from the little bit I've seen in the race, I think we've done justice to Alex and put on a good show and kind of justified the amount of money that we've raised so far, which is just incredible.
I can absolutely guarantee that from up here it was an absolute joy and an honor to commentate this race, and really thanks to you and all the guys for putting on a show for us and for the viewers. And before we let you go, Daniel, anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd just like to give the biggest thank you to Robbie for not only organising this event but having the strength and the determination to put it on, organise every detail, from choosing the car and track is the first thing, and offering his prizes, to promoting it as much as he did, and just the whole thing is a credit to him, and it's a credit to Alex as well. I'd like to thank all you guys at Apex, especially Alex Simpson, for putting your time and effort out there to broadcast this race for us, and it's just been amazing. I'd like to thank everyone that donated, everyone that watched, to all the big streamers, all the little streamers, anyone that watched them, anyone that donated, even if it was £1 or £100, it's all going towards a great cause.
Thank you very much, man, and congratulations once again for the 6th place. Daniel McCauley, and he was the second guy into our interview room, and as you know, Sam, I never interview my teammates, so Alessandro Dalle Donne, he is all yours, but you can go ahead with the interview, but you must ask him about that pit stop, because we want to know the truth. Hello, Alessandro.
Yeah, the question that I think philosophers have been asking for thousands of years, was that pit entry deliberate or not, Alessandro?
Absolutely not. I had to make one choice, a life-changing choice, to plow into that guy that was spinning in front of me, or to enter pit row, even if I had no idea because I never practiced it. So I was hoping not to get speedy, and I had no clue about also the fueling. And I came up 3 laps short, so I need to do a pretty long fuel saving strategy to get to the end. But at least I got to the end.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's better than flying, 20 feet up in the air, I guess, on in the opening stages. So from that point onwards, you were kind of just saving fuel, but you must have had a bit of, you had some good battles out there, some close racing. It seemed, from our perspective at least, everyone was quite well behaved. Even the back markers did a pretty good job of getting out of the way.
Yeah, apart from some guys who were spinning all over the place, but in a field like that, 40 plus cars, obviously there will be always someone who is not so comfortable in the truck car combo. So you can expect something like that. Maybe in the first few laps it was a bit too chaotic, but it was fun. At least we had fun. I was behind Jimmy for the first 5-6 laps till he spun, and we went together from P38, P39 to P13, P14 in 6-7 laps. So it was very, very fun. Then I went to pit road.
I was saying, could it be an absolute masterstroke, that that pit stop? It proved to kind of keep you in the same position. Maybe you could have finished a little bit higher. But yeah, in the end, a decent result for you today, Sanjay. Before we let you go, I certainly know one shout out you'd like to give, but any others as well?
Well, thank you to our team, to our sponsor, and for who decided to make up this race, because it was a really fun event, and obviously also for a very good reason. So if anyone hasn't donated yet, please do that. You will find obviously all the links also in the description, I think, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. So please do that too.
Thanks, Sanjay, and I'm sure we'll see you soon on the channel.
Yep. Bye.
Bravo Fernando, bravissimo.
Grazie.
Okay, there's an inside joke that he sounds like Alonso in our team, but you know, sometimes when we do our Apex broadcasting, in the comment section when I talk, viewers say, "Oh, we have Alonso in the broadcast booth," and I say, "Daledon is the real Alonso of the team." But apart from that, I mean, I'm so happy that as a team we were able to also take part in this race. Once again, like Alessandro said, it's for a great cause, and I don't want to, you know, sometimes I'm not very good at explaining myself in English, but if proud can be used as a word, I'm very proud to have been a part of the entire event tonight, from organizers to people who participated, to those who set up, and you know, a bit also us, you know, being the messengers that brought this message to all the viewers for this very, very important cause. So Sam, I think it was a night that was different than what we usually do, but it was absolutely great and unforgettable.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so much thanks to Robbie for organising all of this. You know, certainly the strength he had to, you know, certainly come back and raise all this money for yeah, an absolutely fantastic cause, and the success in which it has been. You know, 1,000. I quickly looked to see 1,378 pounds raised. That is absolutely superb. And I did say earlier on, £1,000 is ambitious, but he has gone and absolutely smashed it. So really well done, Cost. Thanks to all the drivers for donating. Thanks to, you know, maybe if you're just a viewer in this race and donating as well, it's certainly appreciated. And of course, it kind of shows the iRacing community certainly coming together for a fantastic cause. And yeah, on Apex Racing 2, we are certainly very proud and pleased to bring the action to you. And yeah, I'm sure we'll have plenty more similarly entertaining broadcasts in the next few days. Of course, we've got the Le Mans series tomorrow, along with the World FD, and then, of course, the season finale of the BSR Radicals, certainly one that I'm very interested in. And then on Sunday as well, to round off the week, we'll also have the final round of the Apex Racing League's Renault 3.5 Championship. But for now, from me and from Apex Racing TV, we'll say goodbye, and we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.